So I think I'm just gonna read from here to Hibiscus apples. There have been centuries when I really missed having a body. I like this one. I've been in it for about 20 years. It's in its 50s now. Not old, not young. I have a senora face and senora hands. Not smooth, slightly wrinkled, a little lived in, but good. Still strong. Still enough energy for a good baranda, an all-night sing and dance and scream and fight and run. It's just that it's followed by one day of intense pain and then a few more days of lingering pain. But that's okay, because the body mostly forgets by the time the next party comes around. I'd never been in the body of a woman with tattoos before. All this gorgeous color down both arms, huge hibiscus blooms of red and yellow and peach. From both wrists to her shoulders, it was irresistible. I added more after a few years. Vines twined around my ankles, swirling up my calves, bursting into bloom on my thighs and hips. I liked loose flowing clothing, but sleeveless tops and dresses revealed my arms, and shorts or dresses with high slits showed off the color on my legs. Took me a while to figure out how to shop for this body. I mean, yeah, when you're nothing but bones, you can wear whatever you want. Never have to worry if you're going to be able to zip that zipper or close that button, if this color or that one is better for your coloring, what shapes are more flattering. You just throw on a red or black cloak, and that's it. That's the signature look. It just took a few days for me to start changing Gloria's life. I didn't like what she'd made of it. I figured she didn't either, or she wouldn't have committed suicide at 27. I quit her job. I sold her apartment. I told her family I never wanted to see them again. I left Dallas and bought a little house in East Austin. Gloria had some money, which always helps, even in my case. I tried painting. I tried poeting. I tried learning yoga and teaching it. I tried going back to school. Gloria had been an architect. I thought maybe I'd discover some of her drive and talent, but I didn't find myself in anything. I had a lot of spare time. After all, I'd been me for a long time. It doesn't take much to review all the petitions, prayers, and promises that come in every night. When you have power over space and time, life and death, well, it's nothing to say yes to this one or no to that one. I do what my gut tells me to do. I don't make lists. I don't do analyses. I don't do charts or spreadsheets or graphs. I just decide. I give or I don't. I take or I don't. But sometimes you don't want all your life to be about having all these powers. I found my way when I realized I just wanted to do a good thing, to make a good thing. That I was happy shopping at the market and finding the ripest tomatoes, the best lettuce, the most fragrant cilantro, the avocados begging to be squeezed. It made my days so satisfying to make the best tacos I could make, to leave my customers happy and satisfied, feeling like my tacos had just loved them all the way from their mouths to their stomachs, to the tips of their fingers and toes. So I bought a food truck, shown it silver, painted hibiscus blooms on all sides, put up a sign with the logo I designed, a taco with a red and yellow hibiscus bloom inside it. Hibiscus tacos, tacos de Jamaica, surrounded in little lights. Found a good spot, set up a website, opened it up before the food truck craze hit its stride. I make a little of everything, all the classic stuff, carnitas and fajitas and shredded brisket and nopalitos. But what I'm famous for are my vegan tacos de Jamaica. I keep it simple, 9 meat fillings, 3 vegan, Jamaica, nopalitos, and spinach, mushroom, and calabaza cooked with tomatoes and onions. No flour tortillas at my place. All corn, white, yellow, and blue. To make it look nice, I color coordinate the parchment paper on the baskets. White paper for the blue tortillas, red for the yellow, green for the white. No packaged tortillas either. They've got to be fresh. I found an old woman from Michoacan around the corner who didn't want to die yet. So I gave her a job making my tortillas. Perfect handmade tortillas with her handprints and everything. She brought in her comadre who was dealing with breast cancer. Together they make 500 hot off the comal tortillas for me on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And this is Austin. People here lose their minds when they see a menu that says gluten-free, vegan, organic, free range, or dairy-free. I can sell my tacos at $5 a pop. I'm open only 3 days from 5 p.m. until I sell out. Got horchata and limonada and agua de Jamaica too. I've known few things as satisfying as working with my hands, shaping order after order and feeding people, watching them smile, closing their eyes after the first bite, and patting their bellies in happiness. I've got my regulars. There's Carlos and Roberto and Juanito who come by every night I'm open and either bring their work buddies or their new girlfriends. They endeared themselves to me after that first night they showed up drunk and serenaded me with a surprisingly harmonious rendition of Malagueña Salerosa. Turned out they idolized Los Panchos. I told them they should make it happen. They get free tacos all the time in exchange for playing live for 2 hours every Saturday. Now they're all booked for birthdays and engagement parties and weddings. I'm working on getting a couple of nightclub owners who love my tacos to come by on a Saturday. There are all the Mexican laborers who come by and cry over the blue corn tortillas and the el pastor and the nopalitos. Anybody who cries over my food also ends up on my special discount program. Because there's nothing like tears to make you feel like you're doing holy work. And of course, it was gonna be Mexican food. Because that's been my favorite for so long as there have been Mexicans. And before that, the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Huicholes and the Otomi and so on. How could I help but love Mexicans? They love me best. Dress me in flowers and celebrate me and sing to me and pray to me like no one else does. I don't even have to be beautiful for them. They love me skeletal and they love me with my sides, and even more, they understand me. They know I'll come for them one day, and when it's their turn, they're among the few that never run. I prefer to take everyone that way, in a long, soft embrace. They call me Santísima. They call me Flaca. They call me La Pelona. Like if I was their mother, their lover, or their twitchy high school friend, never quite right, but never excluded. I didn't expect to like the work so much. The hours shopping, the hours cooking, the hours with customers, the hours of bookkeeping and cleaning and prepping. But I guess everyone needs a change of pace sometimes. It's been a while since I've spent time in a body. Not since Kali. After the fall of Rome, we spent 3 centuries together, hopping from one body to another, man, woman, other, tripping over all the continents in turn. It was all made new because we were together. It'd been millennia since I'd been in love like that. Occasionally, Guadalupe joined us, and then we were a perfect triumvirate. Guadalupe's hands. No one's ever had hands like Guadalupe, hot as embers. I always marveled at waking without scorch marks on my skin. And Kali, well, I still don't know how to say that name without sighing. How she made all her bodies dance. How I felt in her arms. And how she could rage, her eyes flashing, her voice all growl and thunder. I didn't get angry very often. Nothing much annoys me. But she could push me until I was throwing things against walls and screaming at her to get out. And then one day she left, and the next time we saw each other, it was as if it had all never been. 14 centuries alone had convinced me that solitude was my way. And for 14 centuries, I didn't even want a body. Didn't want to miss the warmth of one of her bodies, didn't want to adore the tilt of a head, or a crooked smile, or a sigh behind my ear. So when I became Gloria, I vowed I would drink my fill of pleasure, taking lover after lover, but leaving my heart out of it. After so many years alone, I wasn't sure I could feel anything anyway. But then I felt the heart beating away in my chest, thumping and clamoring and clanging. And so I said, all right, I'll love them. But only mortals. I'll love them the way mortals can be loved. A partial love, a fractional love, because they burn out so quickly. Because in a century or two, I'll barely remember their names. Because they'll love me incompletely too. Because they'll never know who I am. They'll just remember me as Gloria, a woman with a painted body, who was perhaps a little secretive, but loved them well. I could do that, I thought. I could live that way. To be continued.